Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Heroclix Syndicate. I'll be your host, Tristan, and I'm here with my three co-hosts. We have Gavin, Grant, and Ethan.
So if you're looking for emotional satisfaction, my advice to you is to seek professional Heroclix help. At least 6 people think I am funny.
All right, everybody. Let's do some introductions. So, I'm Tristan, of course, and I started playing in Elseworlds. My favorite figure ever made is probably Necron the Bat God from Elseworlds, just because he's one of the first figures I played with, and I really like Batman. Some other things, I've been playing since Elseworlds, so I've been playing for a pretty long time now, relatively speaking. Been through a couple rules changes, and I've been able to attend the last 2 worlds, at which I had a lot of fun. So here, I'll pass it over to Gavin and get his introductions going.
Hello, my name is Gavin. I started playing 3 weeks ago, which at this point in time would be... I started playing about a week after the Marvel Next Phase release, which was considered Disney Plus Part 2. I have not been to any major world events, or I've been to anything super huge, but I did manage to get the opportunity to go to the IPF tournament in Omaha, Nebraska. My favorite hero is Iron Man, just because I think he's a very down-to-earth person in some storylines, and he's just overall just my favorite character. And I'm going to pass it off to Grant.
Yo, this is Grant. I started playing also near Elseworlds with Tristan. I think my favorite figure as of right now is still Goblin King, just because I love the one-man army aspect of the game, and how it was viable. I mean, that's really it for me, so I'm gonna pass it off to Ethan.
All right, I'm Ethan. I started playing I started playing right after the WWE stuff came out. But then COVID happened, so I stopped playing and I restarted in Wonder Woman 80, and I've been playing pretty consistently since then. My favorite figure, just like pretty much ever, is the House of X Maggot, and I know that's a pretty hated figure, but there's something about just placing pogs and hitting people with them that appeals to me.
I mean, I think the big thing people don't like about Maggot is just it can take a long time with all the free actions that you get, you know?
Oh yeah, no, that's totally true. Being able to just take 400 minutes. Like, I took a turn once that took 20 minutes. I was not stalling. It just took me 20 minutes to do all of my actions.
Yeah, it kind of feels like stalling for your opponent because he's not taking his turn at all, but like that's just kind of how the figure was played. And...
To be fair, I was running like 4 of them. I did play 4 of them at a tournament. I did pretty well at the tournament, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah. So.
I know I'd be mad if somebody pulled up and dropped down 4 maggots across the desk from me.
Yeah, real.
Oh yeah, that was a fun team. So I was playing double lockjaw. I think I had Haivo, a chip, and then I had 4 maggots. And I would just run across the map using lockjaw. I would drop off the pogs and I'd just hit everyone until one figure died, and then I would just mastermind all the damage to the lockjaws, and so none of my figures would die. And if someone did get hurt, I could heal them with Haivo.
It's just mildly infuriating.
Yeah, no, it was infuriating. Not to name drop, but Mr. Craig I did play against him, and he almost conceded because he did not think the team was fun. He was playing Sackman, and I one-turned his Sackman because I poisoned him and then did like 20 damage with each pog, with the pogs.
That's what we call a yikes.
Yeah, it was rough for him.
So is Silver your favorite since you can still play animals? Although Maggot is banned.
Okay, well, I would like Silver if Maggot wasn't banned. I get why he's banned. No, I don't. I'm justice for Maggot. But no, I like Silver. I'm not a huge fan of the change to 400 points. It's a lot of points, so the teams just have so many moving parts. It can be really difficult to approach. I do like the part that it's half modern, half silver only. I think that's a really good change because silver was just modern 2.0, but with the broken silver stuff. I'd probably say my favorite format is still silver though, just because you can play just like it can be more casual because you can play weaker figures. But you also get to just reminisce and play those older figures, kind of like Grant said, with where you can play Goblin King.
Yeah. Silver's gone through some changes recently, and for a really long time, my favorite format was definitely 300 point Silver Age, where it was just like I could go back and feel like I'm playing some of the older figures that I started the game with. But now that it's like 400 points and you have to play half of it as modern, half of it as silver. It's kind of like
up to half can be modern.
Up to half.
You can play 400 points of silver if you wanted to.
Oh, okay. So it's a change for sure, and it's definitely gonna have to everyone gotta get used to it and stuff. But I don't know. Right now I still prefer the old version of Silver Age. It's just like I haven't played the new version enough to get used to it. It's like every single rules change since Elseworlds, where it's like, oh man, these rules suck, and then you play it for like a couple months, and you're like, okay, these are good changes, you know.
Yeah. So what got you guys into Heroclix?
I think I'll start this one off. So I've always had a small interest in Heroclix ever since I met you guys, because I think it was one of the first times that we all hung out. Since I've hung out with Ethan, Grant, and Tristan, it was that we were at someone's home, I'm not going to say whose, and then they had figures out on a table, and it was just one of those little things where it's like, it's just a little action figure. It looks cool. It has a little turned on, has stats. So it's obviously for a game. I know it's for a game. And then, I just kind of forgot about it. And then the week before I started playing, I was informed that there was the IPF tournament in Omaha, hosted by Dial H. And I said that I would go with them because I had nothing better to do that weekend. So I learned how to play the game in 2 weeks and showed up to my first tournament.
How'd you place in that tournament?
Oh, well, okay. So I didn't do well at all, actually. But I mean, there was some bright sides. My first match I played against the U.S. national champion, Alex Mayer, which I got 0 points. I'm not gonna lie. I was playing a 295 point team with Black Adam at 200, Orb, and Blackheart at 50, and I got crushed by him. Alex was also very helpful though, and he gave me some tips and points, to which I would go into my second game, which I played against Grant. I used those pointers and tips, and I managed to score 30 points in that game, but then immediately Black Adam got kind of put into a corner and killed pretty quickly. So
yeah, it was kind of a tough game.
Yeah, no, it was a rough game, but I did score more than 0 points. My third game, it came down to I had about I think I had 245 points to end it. I went up against someone with a somewhat so to mention, this is 300 point pulp.
Yep.
And I played against someone who had a somewhat meta team. There was the Doctor Strange that everyone was using, and there was some of those meta pieces in that team. And in the end, I managed to kill everything but his Doctor Strange. And I still lost that game because he managed to kill my Black Adam at the last minute, right before, 2 minutes before they said last action. There was something interesting that happened that match where he telekinesis Doctor Strange 6 squares multiple times. And I'm going to say this now as a new player, just like other new players that make this mistake. Even if you question something the slightest bit, call a judge, because I didn't, and that's why I lost that match. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then in my last match, I played against someone who played, I think it was the Doom Syndicate, or it's the Spider-Man villains. Sinister Syndicate.
Yeah.
Sinister Syndicate. It was a group of Spider-Man villains, and that game actually won. I kind of run with I won with this hit and run tactic with Black Adam, where you would mostly use the hypersonic speed ability, run across the board, do high damage, run him back, and it was a fun way to play the game. And although my opponent was probably a little annoyed by the end of it, I felt bad for him. I said I'm sorry, but it was a pretty good game overall. I think.
So
I had a good day.
Where'd you end up placing?
I did not get top 16. I can say that much. It's out of 26 players. I had a total of
But you weren't last.
I was not last. No, I maybe got a total of about 600 to 700 points. I know I wasn't last.
That's pretty good, actually.
Out of 4 rounds, yeah.
I mean, and then you also won the Fellowship Award, where what was the pricing that you ended up getting from that?
I got a Captain America on Pegasus for a fellowship award.
Ooh.
Oh, peg cap. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's definitely fun to play. And then I know the next was Ethan. How'd you do during the IPF tournament?
First round, I'm not gonna lie, I blundered literally every single action I took. It was very upsetting for me. I ended up losing that round by a few points just because I kept rolling like 1s and 2s on my Blades rolls, so I couldn't kill his Necron with my Red Widow. I won my next 2 games after that, and then, so the 4th game I played, well, my next 2 games were just wipes. But my 4th game was against Isaac Denke, where that was a really cutthroat game. The final score ended up being, he scored 185, I scored 175. In the last 5 minutes, we probably took 10 turns each. We were very quickly playing and trying to just score as many points as possible. He ended up getting top cut because he scored 10 more points than me. But other than that, the tournament went really well. Everyone got a broadsword, and then I got a Wings of Eagly. So, not upset with the prizing. Prizing was very good for that tournament.
Yeah, it really, really was. I think... How did I even do it? So during the IPF tournament, I think we were all there. So during the IPF, I played against Lucas Tom Van Hollen first round, who is the world champion in the format that we played, where he was doing this cool bounty system for the charity, where it's like you both put $10 in. So me and Lucas put $10 in, and if I ended up beating him, I would get like some reward, but it was just a bunch of money for charity basically. And so we play, and he absolutely demolishes me because it's Lucas. And then second game, I think it was me and Gavin. That game went exactly how Gavin said it went.
It was not a good day for me.
He pushed up his figures, and they ended up getting the smoke. We threw hands, and it just happened. Third game, who did I play third game? I played someone who... So during the APF tournament, it was like a mirror match after mirror match after mirror match for most players. But I think I only played teams similar to mine like twice, and it was just both Lucas. So my third match, I played a guy who ended up playing a Poison Ivy team. Like I think it was a Gotham City or Arkham Asylum team. Super cool, an awesome concept. It was even one of the figures that I was thinking of building a team around for the tournament, but I ended up going with Orb because it's Orb. I ended up winning that game by just squeaking out just enough points. And then fourth game, who did I play? I think I played another unique team. I just I can't remember exactly what team it was though. It was unique. It wasn't Orb. But then I was able to squeak out into top 8, where I then played Lucas again, and I got at 7th, which was pretty cool. I ended up with some wings of Eagly iconics and a broadsword and a bunch of other prizing, so it was a pretty good day. And then Tristan, you made it to top 4, right?
Yeah, so I got 4th exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, not all of my games were that exciting. My first one was really exciting. I got to play against Kevin Nelson, and he was playing a really interesting team. I can't remember all the figures on it because I didn't see a lot of them. A lot of them don't see play. But it was a lot of figures with super senses, impervious, shape change, just roll out city, which made it really annoying to attack him, especially when on my 3rd turn, I think it was, I crit missed twice in a row, one of which was with my Necron. But luckily, I was able to squeak out that game and win on a couple points when time was called at the end. And if you want to see that game, that one was actually live streamed, I'm pretty sure, on the main Dial H channel. The rest of my games were not very exciting. I'll admit it. my second game was probably my shortest game. I had the world's greatest alpha on this guy and killed his goon and Mr. Sinister straight off the bat. I should say he was playing a goon, a Mr. Sinister, a Red Widow, an Orb, and then a Deathstroke at full points. So I hit his goon out. He respawned it. And so I was like, okay, I'll just take out your Mr. Sinister then next with my Orb. And he summarily proceeded to concede.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
But it's okay, because that gave me the opportunity to go out and help Calder grab some food for the people at the tournament. So that was very nice. In my next round, I had my probably second hardest game. Or probably my hardest game. It was against Lucas Tom Van Holland, reigning world champion. Of course, he's doing his bounty system, which I would like to thank him for, since he said he's going to do it at more tournaments in the future. So raising money for IPF is always really good. But I lost that game, and I think the deciding factor was my Red Widow missing her attacks because of a Spiderling dice, which, they kind of put her out after that. He just proceeded to kill her with his Necron. And he alphaed me. He alphaed out my Orb. So I didn't have an Orb that game either. So I couldn't stop myself from crit missing with Red Widow. So that game was pretty fast as well. I lost. My next game, I got to sit next to Ethan. And I can't quite remember the name of who I was playing against. But he decided he was second player. So he decided that he wanted to push up his figures. And I got really lucky with my leadership roles with my Doctor Strange this game. And so I had both a Wong and an Astral Strange on the field. And that let my Necron just one-tap his Necron straight off the board. And from there it was really all downhill. My Orb alphaed his Orb. And then I think the next turn I took out his, his Blackheart with my Necron. And he had a Blackheart as well on there with a Falcon, but he put him in the corner of the map, so he was really far away. And it was really hard for him to engage in the combat on the opposite side of the map. And it took him a few turns to get there. By the time he was there, my Necron was full power, and everything else was just going great. I had Mr. Sinister dice. He couldn't really do anything. After that, I got brought into top 8. Top 16, top 8. Yeah, it was top 8 is where it cut to. My first game was against, I think his name was Seth. He came down with Edward from the Phoenix Nest group. I don't know if he's part of Phoenix Nest or not. Do any of you know?
I do not know.
If Seth is part of Phoenix,
Right, I think that's his name.
there's a million people in Phoenix Nest, so I don't know.
I think there's only like 40 Phoenix Nest peoples.
Only 40, yeah.
Only 40 on this
Yeah.
Heroclix team.
But, he won the initiative, and he was playing a very similar team to everybody else there, Orb, Necron, Sinister, Blackheart, Red Widow, all the good stuff, Doctor Strange. So he decided that he'd go first, so I brought him to the Atlantis throne room, and I don't know why, but he brought his Necron out of his starting area, which is like the biggest mistake in my opinion. I think Necron is very important to those teams, and he needs to stay alive. So I alphaed his Necron, and then I cleaned up the rest with my Necron as the game proceeded. I think I ended with only my Necron and my Doctor Strange alive at the end too. And then my last game was against Alex Mater. This one was pretty interesting too, because he succeeded on his leadership with his with his Doctor Strange right away. But he didn't have an adjacent square that wasn't in his starting area to spawn his Astral. So he had to place it one square out of his starting area. And we were getting on Atlantis throne room, and I was going second. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try to get some tempo here. And I had my Blackheart bring forward my Necron and shoot his Astral Strange so he could heal up. But I made the mistake, I forgot to place my Grave Marker with my Necron, so he didn't heal at all. He was just there, sitting alone, with his Blackheart right behind him. And of course, Alex Mater capitalized on that. Came up, blew up all my figures, and that was like my main attack force, because I had an Orb up there too. And it was kind of over after that. I mean, I tried to come back, of course, but there wasn't really much I could do. But I still ended up getting 4th. So that's pretty nice, but I really enjoyed being able to see the Dial H members there. I mean, we got to get some Raising Canes after too, and the event overall was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We're kind of known with the Dial H crew to kind of make fun of their crew as well. So we went down there and we all had some custom T-shirts to make fun of Ian Eggleston a little bit, to poke some fun and make them smile. It's the best way we do things here. And we even received a shout out on the Dial H Facebook too. Yeah, which was cool to see.
I mean, yeah, Gavin. Gavin was brought with. They'd never met him before, so it was really funny. We had him wear one of these shirts, and I told him to go up to Calder and ask him, "Why is Iron Man your favorite Heroclix?" I don't think he did ask him that because he can explain why. What happened when they met?
The moment Calder met me, he looked down at the shirt. He noticed immediately. It was like 0.5 seconds before he noticed, right? And he instantly assumed that I was with these three that are with me here today, which is really funny because it just goes to show like how even though you move on in life and like sometimes you go to different places and you meet different people, there'll always be those people that you're like, yep, it's these guys, and you just know them.
Of course, it was them.
Yeah, it's always these ones. Yeah, and last year we would constantly make teas with Calder on them, and to poke fun. We had him on like a Goblin King shirt where we were holding his decapitated head. We had him on a maggot tee where he's eeny and meeny. We also had him on a scarab tee where he was getting stabbed. Yeah.
There was also one where we had him with like on Penny Parker and the
SPDR
mech.
Yeah, that's right. And then he had like some like Dial H symbols on it. Yeah, that was a good one too.
So I think we got a little sidetracked from the initial question that we asked Gavin. I asked him what got him into the game. Then we talked about the IPF. But what got you, Tristan and Grant, into the game?
So we got into it together.
Yeah.
Through this guy that we knew and still know, named Ian Blair. I know Mr. Craig knows him. I don't know if Mr. Craig will listen to this, but if he does, that's who got us in.
Yep, that's the guy.
And so we played a lot at his house. We played some really weird formats that we just made up. So we'd take like 3 maps, 4 maps, put them together. We'd be like, yeah, we're gonna play a 3-person game. You start over there, and you start in the middle. Goodbye. Have fun getting messed up by the other 2 dudes. And it's like, what?
Yeah. It was very like Smosh Games Board AF did a little segment of Heroclix where they kind of did their own rules and whatever, and that's kind of how we did it. Where it's just like, oh, these are characters from our childhood. Let's swing them at each other.
It'd be like, oh, what's that do? It probably does this.
I don't know.
Close enough.
We used to play like 1,000-point games with like multiple maps just smucked together, and it would take hours upon hours to go through. We didn't time them at all, and we were just like, whoever's the last one standing, go.
If you've ever played Warhammer, you know that feeling of, all right, we'll finish this tomorrow. Leave it on the table.
Yep.
It's that exact thing with those games.
Yeah, and then we ended up stumbling our way to Rainbow Comics, the Heroclix venue that's local to us.
Yeah, so the way that I got into that, Ian brought me to this tournament at his church. Mr. Craig was running it. And some really good prizing, actually. So they had like power batteries. They had the Rock of Eternity. They had all these things with everything connected to it. So all the constructs, all the sins. They had the gauntlet there. I think the Grant won there.
Gauntlet,
with all the Infinity Stones. And that's actually the first tournament I ended up going to, and the first one I ended up winning because one of my opponents overbuilt his team.
Yeah.
And the judge said, yeah, sure, you can have the whole points if you beat me in rock, paper, scissors. And I did. So I won the tournament because this guy overbuilt and I wiped his team. Funniest thing I've ever seen. So I got a Black Lantern powder battery out of that and the Rock of Eternity. Grant, you got
the Infinity Gauntlet and a couple other small things. I think
Book of Skull.
Maybe Book of Skull. Did I end up getting Mole Man from that?
I don't remember. I know you got. I'm pretty sure you got the Book of Skull, but I don't think you got all the hammers for it.
I definitely did not get all the hammers for it.
Most of them, so it was like a snake draft type thing. Yeah. So I don't think all the hammers were with it. Some of them didn't come with everything.
Yeah, it was a cool starter thing where
Yeah.
I don't think the judges knew the rules either, and we all just came together and we were just having fun with the game. But yeah, we ended up stumbling our way to Rainbow, where
Yeah.
we met.
Well, it's funny because Lucas was at that church event, and he was explaining the 2017 rule change is where I saw him, and he said, "Come to Rainbow if you want to play more."
Yeah.
And so we were like, we should go to that Rainbow thing like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, so we stumble our way to Rainbow where we meet kind of a good chunk of Phoenix Nest.
Yeah.
Where they're kind of one of the biggest teams in Heroclix right now, and we've been playing with them for forever
7 years,
now.
8
Yeah.
years.
And so yeah, we kind of just got to know a lot of our community through Rainbow and going to tournaments across the states
And they go to like everything.
Yeah.
So, a couple of years after we started playing, they were like, "If you guys want to go with, we just gotta get your parents' permission," because at the time we were still younger. So like right now I'm 19, and this was 6 years ago. Yeah.
Yep.
So they were like, "Yeah, sure." And so I called my mom. "Mom, can I go? Can I go? Please, please.
I want to go to Nebraska.
I want to go to Nebraska to play this board game. Please, I have to." And she's like, "Oh, okay, hand the phone over to the other dude."
Yep.
So, and then we get in his van or whatever whatever car he
Some
drives.
SUV that he got from his dad.
7-seater, 8-seater actually. It's got that flip down seat in the middle with the three people, so that you have to crawl over to get in. And we get squished in the back.
Oh yeah.
With whatever random stuff they've got. And we need it for the tournament, okay? So we get squished back there, drive an hour down, we play. And that just goes on for whatever tournaments. Until 2 years ago when I finally got to go to Worlds for the first time.
Yep.
Grant went with me. That was most fun tournament I've ever been to.
Yeah, it was
100%.
awesome.
I mean, most of the time it isn't even just about playing. It's about seeing the community, hanging out with them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of downtime in between games, before games, and especially in the lobby, because there's a long line always at the lobby, whenever I go at least.
Yep.
And you got to wait to get in, and everyone lines up early, so you're just sitting there, might as well talk to people, you meet the random people that the Phoenix Nest guys know, and it's always fun.
You always go to these venues where you go to these tournaments where it's like at max 30 people, and then you go to Worlds where it's hundreds of people that play this game that you love, and it's super sweet just to like sit and talk together, talk about rules changes or the next upcoming set or like iconics or a bunch of that stuff. So it's super sweet to get together with the community.
Yeah. And I've only ever seen one person actually get like visibly angry and like yell at a tournament, which was like, it was very out of hand. But I've only ever seen it happen once, and it was last year. So, I mean, that goes to show how nice the tournament goers are that play at these tournaments.
Ethan, how'd you get into Heroclix?
So I was kind of forced to play by Tristan.
Yeah.
So I knew him just from
Our church group.
Oh yeah, yes, we were in church group together.
Wednesday nights
at
my
And
house.
he told me, "You should just like come to this comic book store on Friday." I don't think he even told me what I was going to be doing.
Just go.
He just told me to show up. I was like, "Sure, I'll go." I drive over, and I knew nothing about the rules. I'd never heard of this game. I get there, and he gives me this team with 3 common AI visions. He calls them
butter visions.
He calls them butter visions.
Yep, butter
Because they're
visions.
fully yellow. They're straight up just full yellow visions.
And I don't know anything. I don't know what this card does. And I'm playing the game. He's just like, "Oh, so basically what you're going to do is you're going to pick shape change super senses."
Every time.
And that's just what you say that once and never say anything else. And then you kind of just hit them. Roll dice and hit them. And I was like, okay.
It's so simple. It's a simple team.
It is.
So, yeah. I played that, and then that's how I got into the game. But COVID happened, and then they did the one-run rules change, and I was like, oh, I'll try playing again. And it was really nice, because I didn't have to deal with pushing damage.
They got rid of pushing damage.
Oh, yeah.
I remember playing the Buttervision team, and it just every other, like, all of my characters would take one unavoidable, and I was like, that's really annoying. I don't like doing that.
No.
I would take the damage. I know he has willpower, but I didn't know how it works.
I was like,
I know he
no,
has Indomitable.
He had Indomitable.
He had Indomitable. Well, no one explained to me how willpower worked, so I just took the unavoidable anyway.
Does he have the card up right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the card pulled up. Yes, he has Indomitable. I didn't know how the game worked, so I was just like, oh, I guess if I get a second action, I have to take a damage. It's like, that's lame.
I was racking my brain. I was like,
No,
no, he shouldn't have pushed.
Yeah, no, so I showed up, and Tristan, he did not teach me how to play the game at all.
No, I said reading the card explains the card.
Yes, he said reading the card explains the card, except for all of the powers and abilities that are not
He has
explained.
2 powers, bro. You just gotta believe what your opponent says.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
For what they
trust.
do. Like, oh, okay, sure.
And then the second week I showed up, someone gave me a PAC and just said, read this.
Yeah, that sounds about
And
right.
then I
Literature.
yeah, and then I read that, and then I started playing Wonder Woman again, and yeah, it's been a great time.
And is it true that your favorite Heroclix is Firstborn other than Maggot?
Other than Maggot, is my favorite Heroclix the Wonder Woman 80 Firstborn?
Or is it Felix Faust from 118?
Or the D20 Faust?
Okay, well, not D20 Faust. I've never played D20 Faust, but my favorite figures, aside from Maggot, would probably be Firstborn from Wonder Woman 80, Chip, Faust. Those are some of my favorites, and Oz is pretty high up there too.
Oz was
yeah,
an amazing figure.
That was so funny.
What set is that? Rebirth. That set, Rebirth? That's what set Oz is from?
Oz was from Rebirth. Oh my god, it was the one figure from Rebirth that was
Yeah.
decent.
No, there's also what? Daylight guy? The Green Lantern? What's his name?
Dawnbreaker?
Dawnbreaker. He's cool.
Yeah.
He made to a few teams. He was fringe
But
for
I,
like,
so
I
cool.
like
He was
playing
fringe for
Oz
like a month.
just because it was that. I like playing Oz because it was this massive prob where I could just keep him in a corner and just hurt my opponent's TK. So and it made it 4 squares, which everyone was like, "Oh, I can only TK 4 squares. That's terrible." That's obviously what the base is now. But
Wait a minute.
I actually like Oz a lot.
normal.
Bro was
Yeah.
practicing for modern
I was
age.
practicing for 3 years later when they were going to change it. Yeah. But Oz is actually really good in silver right now because him being like 40 points doesn't really matter too much. And he kind of shuts off TK because makes it 2 squares,
Right.
which feels terrible to use.
And you know, I'd always loved playing Oz and like going against people who were super competitive, like the Rainbow Crew, because I would play against them and I would always just be like, you know what, it would be absolutely hilarious. Let's play him at full points.
Oh,
You never expect it. They're like, what's your
you
points?
never expected
his 100-point line. Oh,
Yeah.
my
like,
goodness.
so I'd go against like Lucas and he'd go, okay, I'm gonna 1-tap Oz. Bang, I'd go, stop click. And he'd go, huh? What do you mean stop click?
So Gavin doesn't know about these dials, but there used to be dials in the game, and they still make them sometimes, I guess, where instead of the lower point line being the next line down, it's just when they hit that line, they're dead. And we
yeah.
call them DC clicks. We do, because they never print them outside of DC sets. Ever, bro.
I think they did print like Hope Summers that does that.
Oh, maybe.
Hope Summers does it.
From X
but
of
that's
Swords, but that's the only one that I
So-
can even think of.
Oz was this 12 range prob piece that could see through everything when you'd use prob.
Oh, it's just probability control over the map.
Basically.
Yes.
But also, you gotta
big
remember, maps were huge. you know?
24 by 16.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So half the map.
Yeah,
half
if
the
you
map.
planted Oz in the middle of the map, you could see everything. And so he only had 2 clicks. And like
There,
2
then.
clicks, and then he'd go to his next dial, right? So everyone would play him at 40, so he'd have the 2 clicks. Then, so it'd be relatively easier to get rid of him.
And he has crazy powers. Like he has TK, active resolutions, or whenever someone uses TK, you get to place them within 2 squares. So his TK gets to go 8 squares, and your opponent gets to go 4.
Yeah.
And you can like bend people around corners and stuff because it's after,
Right.
And then he had this TA called Hyper Time, the goofiest TA in the game, if you ask me.
Whoa. You mean the best TA?
It's so
in the
funny.
game.
you
When
even
someone
tell
tries to
me
move adjacent,
Yes. Whenever someone tries to move adjacent, your opponent rolls a d6. On a high roll, no. On a low roll, I think it was like a 1 or 2, they could place adjacent.
no, it's the opposite, bro. It's they can't on a 1 or a 2.
I thought it was
It's you can't on a 1 or 2. I swear.
Is it I can't place on 1 or 2?
Let's
I
pull it up.
can
Let's pull
place
up
on
the
a 1
card.
or
Let's
2.
pull up the card real quick.
Imagine if it's a 2 in 3 chance. That'd be wild.
That's what I was really thinking it was. Because it was super unexpected. Like it just felt wrong. I always thought that's how I remember it at least. But yeah, hyper time was always the goofiest.
Like trying to charge a Jason and they go hyper time and they roll it and succeed and you go, what? I can't go anywhere now.
Because like their move would just end, and it's just well, there goes their action.
You cannot go anywhere adjacent to Mr. Oz. Like what?
And at the time, it was like charge was a huge thing. And
I mean, close combat.
Yeah,
meta.
close combat was a huge meta at the time. So charge and hypersonic was huge.
I mean, yeah, and then him having super senses is just great, because there was a lot of pen. It was very frequent, around 180 at least.
I do have it pulled up now. So yeah, the hyper time TA says when an opposing character that can't use this team ability attempts to move from a non-adjacent square into a square that is adjacent to this character, it must roll a d6. 1 through 2, the opposing character can't move into any square adjacent to this character this turn, and it's uncopyable.
I only remember
That's
that
hilarious.
because it's so weird that it's on a 1 or a 2 that you succeed on the power, but it's your opponent rolling it.
Right.
It's such a weird team ability. I played Oz for maybe like a year straight, like every single week.
Right.
And I played him at tournaments. Like I've gone 2 tournaments and played with him. And the amount of times they would like come up, I'd be like, "Oh, I think I have to roll for hyper time," and then my opponent would go, "I don't know how hyper time works." So we have to call a judge over because none of us know how hyper time works. And that was before they'd put the team ability on the card.
Right.
So you had to know what the team ability was.
You couldn't find it anywhere really either, other than like before they changed to the team abilities.
Right. And I think everyone who played Oz even forgot about hyper time.
Yeah.
Because no one cared. Like no one knew it.
Like 2 turns later, you'd go, wait, I forgot to roll for hyper time. Well, whatever.
Well, oops.
Yeah.
It was a really weird team ability. I don't think they've reprinted it like since Oz.
No, I don't think so.
I feel like something had it, but I don't remember what. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you at all any figure that could have had hyper time since Oz. At least none in the meta.
Yeah.
Nothing that was
Nothing meta.
Nothing fringe, nothing meta. But yeah, I guess the meta's kind of changed from then.
Oh, the game's changed so much.
The game has changed.
Yeah.
So
I mean, especially
much.
with all the new sets. I mean, it changes every set, I feel like.
Almost, yeah.
Except for War of the Realms.
Yeah.
Maybe that set didn't change.
There was
but it's too
Destroyer.
much.
There was Destroyer. He changed some things up a little bit.
And then they released X of Swords.
Yeah,
And then you
Sword
had
pulled
Mad
out.
Jim, and you were like, okay, well, looks like he's out of here.
Well,
Get out of here, buddy.
No more Destroyer.
I mean, Prime's finally becoming good. No one ever played Primes, really.
which is awesome.
Well, there was that little bit of where people played Prime Gamora, the Mission Point one.
Bro.
She was really meta for a little
Okay,
bit.
buddy.
Okay. Chill out.
I mean, I saw Calder try to play Isaiah Bradley, or Isaiah X. Who is it?
Oh,
The Prime that makes like all your figs.
Jonah X, I think.
Jonah X.
Something like that.
It's
He gives them all penetrate.
Everyone on your team can
penetrating
reduce
damage.
pen, and I feel like he gave out a defense power sometime or something like that, or maybe that's just because he was playing Super Scrolls. Because he was playing Super Scrolls with this fig, and he'd play on like Ancient Hold or something dumb. Put Isaiah Bradley in the corner, and go Super Scrolls, go!
I knew Prime Jolt was also someone that people played unironically.
Prime Jolt is
even
so
though
funny.
It was just so funny.
I mean, I like getting the speed tokens or whatever. I don't even, it's when you hit and you roll to get them right.
Yeah, and then you just move.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. I felt like they tried to. Because everyone was like, "Oh, she's kind of okay."
I mean,
And then they got Speed Weasel, and it was like, "Okay, Speed Weasel's cool because it's just the same figure."
Yeah. I mean, Prime Jolt is just so funny in my opinion. I really wish it was better.
What Prime Jolt was from CAAV?
I think so. I mean, yeah. I ended up pulling 2 of her too.
Yeah, I ended up having a couple of her. Because I think she was an uncommon Prime or something like that.
It's something weird. I don't even know.
Yeah. Well,
But
we sit here and we talk about old Heroclix, but Gavin just joined like a week ago. So,
I mean, 3 weeks ago, yeah. I'm fairly new. I mean, from a new player's perspective, the game is definitely complex. But it's not so hard that you'll never understand it. I know that as someone who plays at Rainbow with these guys, it seems like I'm going to be talking from a high-level player perspective, but I guarantee you I am about as knowledgeable as any new player. I know almost nothing about the game besides the powers and just from reading the character cards. Like, there's a lot of game sense stuff that I still haven't quite figured out, like how important it is to place your character a certain way when you can move them into to the same spot technically, but what side of an enemy character do you put them on, right? It is a very friendly community, and I would recommend to anyone out there who is even thinking about playing the game to at least, you don't have to buy anything. Don't get me wrong. Don't buy anything immediately, because it is an expensive game. But if you want to try it, try to find someone who will maybe lend you some stuff, or try to find a friend who you can just play with and see how it goes. I think it would be a very enjoyable experience. And I think talking about all that old stuff, I think brings up the good question of Scott Porter's, all 5 of Scott Porter's videos are out for the Deadpool Weapon X set.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I think it'd be a good time to talk about that. And I would like to start that off with Ethan talking about something about Timebreaker.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
This
good
Timebreaker.
lord.
We're starting off with a heavy subject. Huh?
We're
Oh
starting
my
off
goodness.
with the best figure.
I have some thoughts about this figure. So if you don't know what this Timebreaker does, let me pull it up here. It's a 5-point figure. So
Which I thought they were going to stop printing 5-point anything.
yeah, they haven't
Exactly.
printed a 5-point. The last like
Was it
below.
Guardians?
Have you seen the sculpt for it though?
I haven't. Isn't
It's
it just
so
like a
goofy. It's a
isn't it
little
a
bug,
bug? Yeah.
basically.
No,
it looks like
I
a
did see
beetle.
that.
It's a beetle with like a little pout, like a bag with it or
He-
something.
he
He has something with him,
He
but he's a
kinda
beetle
looks like
basically.
the bot from Borderlands. You know?
What?
It's like-
Oh,
Claptrap?
Claptrap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good game, by the way, but we won't get into that now. All right, so Timebreaker is 016. It has Exiles, Cosmic, Future, and Past. Its first trait is Free. If another friendly character has not activated this same effect this turn, generate a number 016 Timebreaker on click number 1. And then it has Power. Choose an adjacent character. Place that character up to X squares away from their current square, where X is the number of 016 Timebreakers and B005 Timebreakers adjacent to that character.
Which we haven't seen yet.
So yeah, we haven't seen the B005 yet.
Or what generates it, because that's a POG. Right?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a POG because if it was a prime,
It's
it would
Genome, right?
it'd be it's a B005. So I assume it's a POG.
Instead of 005B.
Yeah.
You know.
But its stats are sidestep, 5 speed, 0 attack, autonomous, 16 toughness, and 0 damage, tiny size. So I first read this. Some people have shared the same sentiment, but I think this is like just insanely crazy. Because it doesn't require a line of fire to place these characters, and they're autonomous, so they can sidestep up and you can generate more, and then you can teleport your friendly characters through walls. Like, I'm looking at this, and this seems like the automatic like meta pick.
This is the next TK. You know?
The only reason why I see it not getting played is it has keywords, and Theme Team with Scott Porter's being out is so important. Because
You know,
that bonus.
honestly, but like Future and Past have been getting really good.
That's true. Yeah, Future, Past are pretty good, and maybe you could do something with Cosmics. Obviously, they have Surfer and like Saint
Right.
Walker,
Yep.
Yeah.
but I don't know if they have quite enough to.
And with this,
Push them
I'm
there.
pretty sure with this new set, they're doing some stuff with Future and Past too.
Because Kong is Past, right?
Yep, Kong is Past.
There is also like a lot of the X-Men stuff because it is Weapon X, so there will be a lot of future and
Yeah,
past in the
exactly.
set, at least from what we've seen in the 5 days preview.
I remember seeing something in the new set being like they're giving buffs to Future and Past too. So
Okay.
Well, I'm looking at it. There's quite a bit of things you could play. Just like I'm just looking at Cosmic here. You get all the baby. You can play all the baby Groots. You can play Old
the
King
Groots have been
Thor.
pretty cool.
We haven't seen a tournament yet because they just came out. But I can definitely see those baby Groots being meta. But you can play King Thor. You can play, Kong. Obviously, no, not Kong. Kong isn't Cosmic, but he is Future and Past.
He's past.
So
Is he
I-
future too?
No, but he's
I think
definitely
he's just
past.
past.
He's definitely past.
There's no way he's not past. I mean, he's got to be.
Does the Timebreaker have animal keyword?
No,
No.
I think he's a robot.
It should have
so-
bug keyword.
bug
keyword?
Yeah.
Funny.
I mean, really, I think
Oh,
what puts
he doesn't even
Timebreaker
have, like,
over.
robot or
I
anything.
mean, you want to check Kong's keywords, but I think what puts Timebreaker over really is that it's autonomous.
Oh, dude, no, it doesn't.
I don't know
Oh,
why
does
it's autonomous.
Oh yeah, no, Kong doesn't share any of those keywords, so maybe not. But yeah, it is autonomous, which they haven't printed since the Carnage set.
Right.
Yeah, the last Carnage set. And the last figure they made that had autonomous, that was like they were just all good.
Yeah.
It was Mary Jane Watson who made the paparazzis.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
When she came out, you couldn't start the game equipped, and she could just make one of the paparazzis 4 squares away, and they could sidestep, grab that equipment, and drop it off in your square, and you could just equip. It was
Or, I mean, some people were playing it in this really weird way where you would have the paparazzi, you'd somehow spawn them over in your opponent's side of the board. You'd like alpha strike almost with your Mary Jane Watson, and they'd sidestep, pick up your equipment, and punch the ground with it, and it would break. And you just get 3 points right there.
Yep.
With an autonomous fig. And it really is just crazy, especially with actual figures, not just bystanders being autonomous.
Yeah. Autonomous was just always something that felt just nasty. You know, it just felt gross to play with and against.
That's actually part of the reason why I like Maggot so much, just because it doesn't cost anything. That's
these
obviously what
little
makes him
maggots.
so good, is because they're autonomous.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not worried necessarily. I'm excited to see them get played because they look amazing to me.
Yeah. I think if Timebreaker becomes super meta, then I think Merlin will start seeing more play. Hopefully. I really, really like Merlin.
Merlin
just feels
is so fun.
It feels bad because Merlin puts down your own team at the same time.
Yeah, right.
Which it's just so sad. It feels really bad.
Merlin's been kind of fringe. Someone got like 6th at Worlds last year. They were playing Merlin, and they were playing what was the Iron Man that was actually like Doctor Doom, or the Doctor Doom that was actually Iron Man?
Doom Supreme or something like that? No, not Doom Supreme. What is it?
It was the one that made it so you couldn't modify your values, kind of like Jennifer Kale does.
Oh. No.
Infamous,
what's his name?
not Infamous. Was it Infamous Iron
Oh,
Man?
it was Infamous Iron Man.
No,
yeah.
it was Demon in Armor.
Demon in Armor, yeah.
Oh, Demon. Oh,
The Infamous Iron Man was
yeah.
the title character.
Yes, that was the type. Yeah.
It was Demon in Armor. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know how many of you out there know what Merlin does, but Merlin says that your autonomous figures count towards your action total, right?
Yep.
Well,
then
that's Spider-Man
something like
766.
that's 17.
He limits your free actions
But
every
yeah,
turn.
he makes it so your free actions, you can only take as many free actions as you have costed actions. So if you have a leadership in 300 points, you get 4 free actions on your turn. That goes for both players, though. And that's why I think a lot of people don't like playing Merlin.
Yeah.
When I'm
And
looking
what else
at
does he do? Is that it?
Merlin, I don't know. He gives you +1 action total, and he has, I think, Cosmic and Mystics.
Okay.
He's cool. He's just a lot of points, and he can get played around. But with free actions, we'll have to see, because Surfer doesn't really use...
Surfer doesn't, because he just makes an attack after. He doesn't do a free attack. Or
He
anything.
is hypersonic. But with Kong, maybe. I can see it.
With Sackman, I think Merlin was really strong. He should have seen more play just because Sackman takes so many free actions when he exists. Sakari and Iron Man. Because he had Sidestep, he had Perplex, he had Outwit. Those are all free actions. A lot of times you would Running Shot and like Pulse Wave or Charge Flurry. You'd do some other free action with him too, and that'd be your 4 for the turn. So that's like crazy. But no one played Merlin still at the time. Which is really weird to me.
I always saw him being played sporadically.
Yeah.
No, but I don't think anyone really took him seriously. Which is kind of a shame because he was a super cool figure.
Yeah. I mean, especially with like Spider-Man Prime being in the game too.
Yeah.
I could see him being really good. Because he has Sidestep, Wall Crawler, those are 2 free actions. He's going to Charge Flurry, and then he's going to Subconscious. So that's your 4 for the turn.
Yeah. But let's go back to what Gavin was saying just about the new set. Because I do think Merlin's good, but with the new set, we've only seen some of it because of Scott Porter's, but there's a few figures that just kind of stand out. We saw that Mind Pool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He has a really,
Unique.
his traits are emojis, which is just kind of funny.
Yeah.
But he has a Mad Gym-esque power where he could take a power action and then equip himself with something on the sideline, like equipment on the sideline. But he also has Barrier. When he uses it, he may generate a single non-standard terrain marker of 0 points. So he can generate like the shipping containers and whatnot. That's
the pool of lava.
Yeah, he can make the pool of
pool of
lava
lava.
because that's not worth points.
Yep. Heart-shaped bush, because that one heals you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or herb, whatever it's called.
Herb-shaped bush, I think.
Heart-shaped herb.
I don't think he's like gonna be good because he's 40 points. It doesn't have like movement attack. He could give himself like the cycles, the hell cycle, the motorcycle.
Yeah, right.
I think
Yeah.
he'll be definitely fun in like sealed or something, or just like on casual games.
I think he'll be a fun casual piece. I don't think he'll be too meta, but I do really like him, and I haven't seen his sculpt, but I'm sure that it looks great.
Yeah. And you know, I also kind of wanted to talk about the super rare Magneto, because I'm seeing posts about him around where everyone's like, this figure is about to be the best thing in the world. And I know, I keep looking at him, I keep reading them, and I'm like, I don't agree.
Yeah,
You
no,
know, I don't-
it's definitely something where, on the surface, right, looks insane. It's the point values.
exactly. He's super spendy. If you want to pull him up, just so we can talk about him.
Is he a super rare?
Yes, he is.
Is he?
Yep, super rare
I'm
Magneto.
looking
He
at-
was just released in today's video.
If we need to, we can pull up the YouTube.
Yeah, we can also just pull up the card.
But yeah.
Why's your HC units out of date?
I don't know.
Oh, HC Units doesn't have this one. All right.
I was looking at on HC units today.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Clay took it down.
Yeah, something might have happened.
Question for Golden Mats. Yeah, so this the super rare Magneto, what he has traded Pulse Wave.
Traded TK.
Yeah, traded. So the trade is
These are really cool trade.
Pulse Wave TK, and once per game you can choose one out of the three. Where
Power
you,
action.
Yep, power, and you unequipped all figures, other than himself. You can, I believe it's like remove all placed terrain near him.
His terrain can't be placed within his range. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, maybe it's something.
Here, we're
like
pulling
that.
it up right
Yeah,
now.
here's
Yep.
the card.
Yeah, characters within range can't generate terrain,
Yep.
and he's at range 6. And then he's got, let's see, this game characters with the robot and vehicle keyword modify attack, defense, and speed -1 is the third option there.
I mean, that's good if anyone's playing Master Mold anymore, but like,
So hard counter to Matt Reed, but
yeah, right.
Sorry, Matt.
I don't know. I like him.
And then there's more on his back.
He has his backside still.
So the big thing a lot of people I'm seeing a lot is about his attack ability, where
yeah.
when he hits, until your next turn, hit targets can't reduce damage or can't be healed, where he has 2 lightning bolts. So he can really like shut down some of your big attackers, where it's like, boom, you don't have any reduction anymore and you can't heal. So it's you basically makes 2 people punching bags. He doesn't even have to like deal damage to these figures. He just has to hit them.
Yeah. Which is kind of sad because then you can super sense out of it with like Spider-Man.
Right.
So that's really where I see him falling off. But he's also 100 points.
Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His
he has a
lower
one-
die
is-
was
He has a 175 or a 100. I think maybe you could get away with running him if like Professor X from X-Men Rise and Fall was still modern.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But I think he's just too many points to like.
to really see competitive
If
play.
he had a lower line between those clicks 7 and 8 where he starts with this attack power again, I think people would definitely start playing him for less than 100 points.
Absolutely.
I definitely see him. I can see him being a pretty big menace in sealed. I haven't looked through the set.
Oh,
a
in
ton.
sealed, I can totally see him being
But I also
super
haven't
menacing.
seen. I haven't looked through the set a ton, but I haven't seen a ton of Outwit. There might be. I just haven't.
You know,
might
I
be paying
haven't really
attention.
seen
I think
a ton
the-
of Outwit either.
I think the only character that we've seen with Outwit is the Mime Pool, who has Outwit on every clip.
Yeah, he does have it displayed on dial. He does have Outwit displayed on dial. He's cool though. That Magneto's cool. His sculpt is beautiful. But
The helmetless look is really
yeah.
cool, and the billowing cape.
speaking of beautiful sculpts, they're making a Wolverine with the Phoenix Force. Have you guys seen that one yet?
Yes.
Oh yes, you know it looks so beautiful, but I think they kind of messed out. They should have made him glow.
Oh, yep, Hero Glow.
They really should have.
You think so?
I think they missed it out on that one because it's such a perfect sculpt for it.
Yeah, I definitely agree that they should add more Hero Glow to the game. It's really beautiful. Not for
See-
they don't need it on every character, but
My only thing is I don't know how expensive it is for them, and I don't want it to drive up booster prices.
that's a good point.
That's more than fair. Yeah.
I think
But-
if it was just like a couple figures,
Yeah. And I really like this Wolverine. I just wish that his stop clicks weren't once per game stop clicks
yeah.
for each of them.
yeah, he's 275 points. So I feel like his stop clicks, even if they weren't once per game to be stops, Like, I get he has regen where he can basically always heal up as long as he rolls a 2 or higher because he increases his D6 rolls.
Yeah. And he has a really nice starting click on because with a TK, that's an alpha strike on a small map right there.
Oh, totally. Like, this figure is sweet, but...
Yeah.
I wish he was a bit better for, like... I like my big points. Like, I know me and Grant share this, but, like, big one-man armies are really cool.
I love them so much.
And I think there's a little weird balancing act they have to go between one-man armies being good for, like, modern, like, APOC is... versus just being auto wins and sealed. Because if you pull him right now, you basically do win. He has Cosmic, so you can't even outwit him. And he probably will one-shot most figures in the set. So,
with a 5 damage Battle Fury.
Like,
yeah,
I get...
kind of nasty.
Yeah, I get trying to get that balance, but it also feels like the last couple massive, big, like, cool figures we got, like Chthon. He's obviously really good and constructed because he gets +1 combat values. But just...
For free.
In sealed, he doesn't do much. He has a couple stop clicks and he has mystics. That's basically all he does.
That's all you really need in sealed, though.
But even in sealed, like, he's just an auto win in most sealed games. But he feels really bad to play in just a 300-point game because you just die. If someone has penetrating damage, you just lose automatically.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, it almost feels bad to be in sealed just because it's a chase. Only one person at best is going to get him. And, like, if it just feels bad to have one person wipe every game just because they pulled a good chase.
You know, it's kind of how it is with this set, even with this new Disney Plus set. We played Sealed yesterday. As at the time of recording this, we played Sealed yesterday, and everyone was just like, "Hey, if you pull Moon Knight, good win." You know, like
Yeah.
And we were playing for a next phase chase booster too.
Yep.
So it was like big pricing, $70. It's really good pricing.
It wasn't even like it was just like a rare Moon Knight, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
just
the
a
rare Moon Knight.
Yeah.
The only way that you can really get around him is if you have the right team. But if you have that, like, there's a couple figures that can help deal with him, but, like, the super rare Wong is one of those big ones because he does 10.
Mm-hmm.
But if you didn't have him or your own Moon Knight, it was really hard to...
Yeah,
And-
he's so much to chew through. So
Yeah.
like for him being, I feel like there's always one figure or like this one duo in Sealed where everyone's like, okay, you win, good job.
Yep.
You know, so
And, I mean, we saw that happen yesterday too. The top 2 game and the final round was both Moon Knights.
yeah,
And of course, one of them ended up winning because it was the top 2. But
I actually ended up getting second just because I scored more points than the other Moon Knight team.
yep,
which was funny.
that is so funny to me.
But we actually just got a message from Calder Ness, the
sexy ranch hand.
sexy ranch
For
hand,
those
the co-host of Dial H.
the main host.
Oh, he's now the main host.
He's
of
the
Dial
host.
H.
He's
Simeon's
been the
the co-host.
main host of Dial H for Heroclix since episode 269. I
And what
believe.
are they on now?
They just passed 500,
They
right?
just released episode 512.
Yeah.
Good God.
So
So he's been there for a little bit, hot minute.
yeah, I say they just passed 500, but they're already they're making their way to 600
through it.
fast.
Yeah, exactly. We're going fast.
Yo.
So his first question for us is, what are your guys' favorite figures ever made? We'll start with Gavin since you're new.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Ever
Ever
made. You can pick any. Look at this guy right here.
Yeah, what's your favorite figure?
Like the wind to go out here.
So favorite figure. I don't know. There's a lot of good ones out there, and people are obviously going to be expecting a meta pick. But if you know me, I barely know the game, obviously. So I'm just going to go with something that I think was cool. When I was looking through HC units for the first time, and one of the first times I was exposed to the game.
Shout out Claywood H units.
H units is so good.
Okay, sorry about that.
Anyways,
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
I'm a big Spider-Man fan, so when I was looking on the website, trying to look at what clicks I might want, I saw the Prime Iron Spider that was like, I think Aaron Davis? Or...
Yeah, absolutely. He's such a cool figure.
Yeah.
I love him, actually.
It's actually
He's
funny
so-
you
he's
said
super
this.
cool.
I doubt you knew this, but Calder Ness got top 16 at the national tournament, not this year, but last year, using that. I don't know,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and the drop-off team with like Chip,
using the Iron
Flash,
Spider.
Yeah.
and a bunch of guys who can just generate constructs. It was actually really cool.
A bunch
I
of the
gave him that
legends.
Iron Spider.
I don't know if that's a team that he played at that tournament, but I know he played that at States.
No, he played it. He
Same
played
team?
it at Nationals and
I think so.
got top 16
Yeah.
with it.
Nice.
I think he got exactly 16th, but
Yeah. I mean, that's still top 16.
I don't know.
Anyways.
It's Calder.
I mean, he
Back
did-
to you.
He could have done better.
Yeah.
I just think it's a fun character, and it's definitely like one of those characters where it takes you time to know about. Like, you have to know that it's Aaron Davis in the Iron Spider suit. Otherwise, it's just Iron Spider in a black suit.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's another cool thing about HeroClix is they're not afraid to go into the not well known characters like Orb. Who,
Yeah, exactly.
Who in Pulp we saw at almost every table when we went out.
Absolutely demolished. Tristan, let's swing this question to you. What's your favorite figure ever made?
I mean, I said it earlier. I think it's Necron the Bat God. I'm a really big Batman fan, so that's already like a big plus. One of the first figures I ever played. I mean, I guess I really like Super Doom too, just because he's so funny to play.
Yeah.
But
totally.
no, I don't like him as Necron as much as Necron, especially because he has a really weird trait. He gives everyone on your force the Batman team ability, so they all get stealth there. And then if he's KO'd, he makes it so opposing characters can't target your characters if they're not within 3 squares. Actually, he says if they're 4 or more squares away. So really the same thing there. But I think that he could be really good if he wasn't 100 points. And
Yeah,
and you had a
totally.
really good way to kill him.
Yeah,
Because then they have to come up next year to fight you.
Yeah. Ethan, let's swing this Calder question to you. What's your favorite figure ever made?
I mean, first thing that comes to mind, D20 Faust is obviously a great.
Shut
pick.
up. Okay.
Okay, but if I'm
Skip.
gonna be honest, one of my favorite figures that's ever made. I'm gonna say Chip, just because Chip's like a silly little guy.
Yeah, just the little Green Lantern.
It's just a
squirrel.
little squirrel. It's super silly. That or like Disney Plus Scarlet Witch. I'm a big fan of Scarlet Witch, and I really like that version of her. I think she's all right. She could have been meta. She's kind of fringe, but obviously I'm joking. But yeah, no, that was probably my favorite.
Yeah. And thinking about this question, to surprise my co-hosts, I think my favorite figure ever made was the Carnage from Mighty Thor, the 2x2.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, real shocker.
Honestly, it was my first exposure to like Colossals.
Oh yeah,
And we would see these figures, and like it would be like Carnage and Surtur and Frost
Flora.
Giant and Flora and
Mangog.
And
Mangog's crazy.
And we would see these figures, and on like the first time at least I saw it, I was like in awe, like
Yeah.
my mouth agape, because these figures were just so beautiful,
Yeah.
and so fragile too, so fragile. But
I
like,
mean, yeah, their sculpt tells you 10 points, 1 click, really.
yeah,
It says it all.
it says everything, man. And you would see them, and you'd be like, okay, that has to be the first thing that I need to get rid of, because
Yeah.
they're just so intimidating.
I mean, really seeing your opponent pull it out from the ground and set it on the table,
Yeah,
it's a feeling,
it's a feeling. Yes, that's right.
They are making another Super Booster set with the Masters of Time, I think
Yeah.
it's called, coming out later this year. So I'm excited for that because
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
we've already seen what most of them look like, and there's the Batman, and he looks awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that.
Batman Lizard.
I'm saying the big figs are supposed to be like Justice League dinosaurs, at least from what I've heard, or something
Yeah,
similar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
That's the idea behind them. And then, unlike the other Super Boosters, they'll have figures,
And
other figures with them.
I was going to say, is this going to be like the Super Boosters from the Mighty Thor or more like an X-Men animated series?
Right, is it going to be those
It's
short,
in bet-
stubborn
Yeah,
ones?
so no, it's like the Mighty, from what it looks like it's the Mighty Thor ones.
Oh,
And
that'd be
then they have like 3 extra figures, like the X-Men animated series
Okay.
also had.
Oh.
So it's just like 1 per brick.
Yeah, it's 1 per brick, from what we've seen.
Right.
But I know if you go on the WizKids website and pre-order it, I think it's if you buy 1 brick, they'll send you a free
Super Booster.
Super Booster while supplies
That's
last.
really nice.
I don't know
Yeah,
if,
that's
I
pretty
don't know if that's still going on, but
So to move to our next question, what is your favorite sculpts?
oh, I'm gonna start this one off.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know my favorite sculpt, hands down, right away. It's the Avengers Forever Chase Thor.
The worst figure in the game.
One of oh, It has such a beautiful sculpt with the lightning and the ravens. It's so beautiful. But he's so terrible. He's an awful figure. They did him so dirty.
Yeah.
He's basically unplayable.
He is beautiful.
His trait takes like 7 turns to activate without like, using something to give him extra targeting.
Yeah.
It's so painful to try to play him. I've played him before in like Silver Age games. That's the only place he works. But he's so many points and just does basically nothing for so long.
Totally. Yeah. Gavin, what's your favorite sculpt in Heroclix?
My favorite sculpt in Heroclix, that's a toughie considering I don't know a lot of clicks. I like a lot of them. I think are pretty good, but I think right now, just from the, I think that makes a good point. Just from the memeability of it, the pointing Spider-Man are some of my favorite.
The iconics.
Yes, the iconics of the pointing Spider-Man. Another good one that I really like. I mean, it's kind of like duh because it's brand new, but just seeing that Phoenix Wolverine in the previews.
Oh, this new Phoenix Wolverine.
The new it's so cool. It just looks so cool.
It is beautiful for sure.
Yeah.
Tris, what's your favorite sculpt?
I think I'm gonna follow Ethan's example and go ahead. I'll pick King Shazam.
Oh,
from Wonder Woman 80.
The pain.
Oh man, that figure was bad. But
what are you talking about? You hit him and he can't die for a turn.
And then you outwit it.
Oh yeah, you outwit him.
You outwit him.
You outwit him. Yeah, you can just kill him. But
well, yeah, those of you who don't know, when he takes damage, you can turn him to this random click on his dial, number 11.
Make him a Billy Batson.
And the first time you get there, he's immune until your next turn, and then he can do a little, quake thingy. But the cool bit is that power that gives him immune, you can outwit that 100%. So you straight up outwit that. He's like a 14 defense. You are not going to miss him. If you miss him, I feel sorry for you. But yeah, it's just, but it's really funny. He's like one of the first chases I pulled from Wonder Woman 80. So he's very memorable to me. And his sculpt is just so nice. It looks so great. It's him with like a lightning bolt reaching up into the sky.
Yeah, that's a really good pick. That's a really beautiful figure.
This one's hard, to be honest, because I want to say these old Golden Age figures where they made them huge, like Necron with the battery behind him, and he was fierce and intimidating. It makes me want to say like Galactus, the new and old Galactuses, where they're huge, like terrifying figures. But to be honest, I think Thor Chariot from Mighty Thor is probably one of my favorite figures. At least my favorite sculpts. He was okay. He was okay out of the Mighty Thor. But like the Pegasus and the Chariot and just like was it Captain America on it or was it Thor? I don't remember.
Thor's Mighty Chariot.
Is it Thor's Mighty Chariot?
No.
I guess I get confused
Mighty
because
Thor.
like Captain America on Pegasus is the new Con Ellie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair.
But yeah, that was and it got a legacy card.
Yeah, it did get a legacy card. It was actually, what was that? I think it was the War of the Realm.
Yeah, I think
War
so.
of the Realms legacy. It was a little lackluster, and it was kind of hard to get your hands on just because he was so old.
Yeah.
And shipping was expensive because he's really big.
Yeah.
But that's a good pick.
Yeah, he's very pretty. We're gonna do a couple rapid fire ones to try to end off our episode here. Who's your favorite Dial H member?
Well, kind of feel forced to say Ian Eggleston because he's gonna make us the logo for this channel. But I don't know. I've got to say Calder just because he started the whole thing off,
Yeah, totally.
And I met him first. I've known him the longest. Yeah, so I Calder's my favorite. He's very funny also. Just wearing a cowboy hat every week. I got to dress up as him for Halloween once at Rainbow Comics. It was Kelbar Mez.
Kelbar Mez, yeah. I really want to say Ian Eggleston because he's such a good editor for the channel and he's super nice and he's always there. But like I've known Calder for the longest time and I love making fun of him and he's such a good sport all the time and he really kept me in the game of Heroclix, so I think I gotta say Calder.
That feels so bad to answer because it feels like you're leaving someone out, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you, but it's Calder's question.
It is
so.
Calder's question. But I'm gonna spite him and say not Calder. That's my favorite. Anyone besides Calder.
Anyone but Calder. That's
Calder-
more than fair.
Calder just has terrible opinions about the game.
That's
He
true.
likes
No,
like
that's true.
Captain.
That is
Like
true.
he likes Captain America. Who even plays that figure?
I mean, Wolverine's better.
Yeah, Wolverine's just a better
Thor's
figure.
better.
Like, why would you play Captain America? He's just some dude. Like, he was like gifted his powers.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He didn't do anything to
Just
earn
like
them.
you know, like
You could
play
put-
Superman.
You could be,
know?
you could play Superman. Someone that had to work hard and protects protects the planet. What's Captain America do? Nothing.
Honestly.
What's he do? He takes drugs. He's a drug. That's
Yeah.
what he is.
This
How
guy.
does that represent America?
Yeah, that really makes me want to change my answer.
Yeah. I'm
So,
like
I picked Simeon Bruce.
I am picking Simeon Bruce because that reminded me of when Simeon Bruce brought like 20 Wendigos in Orlando in a cardboard box. He brought them in, and you could hear him sloshing around. You know, like classic Heroclix hitting each other. And he comes in, and you see him pulling them out one by one, putting them on the table, next one on the table, next one on the table, just one at a time. And you're like, when is this guy gonna stop? Boom, boom. It's just Wendigos. That's all it is. That's his whole team. I swear. It was like,
He also does a really good impression of you.
he does a great impression of me, too. I mean, spot on.
good pick. Yeah.
All right, Gav, who's your favorite Dial H member?
Oh, this feels so against me right now because I barely know any of them.
That's what makes it all the better.
That's what makes it all the better.
I think the best way to do this is even it out.
Pick one.
We'll say Ian.
There we go. All right.
Ian's a pretty cool guy. He was a really good sport about the shirt, and he even took a picture with us. And he was
Oh,
disappointed
absolutely,
because he didn't get one.
One of his own shirts. Yeah.
So I think at some point we'll have to make that up to him. But yeah, I think everyone on Dollar is honestly pretty great. I like all of them.
All right, next speed round. What's your favorite Dial H video?
Do you even clicks? Iconic
Oh,
video.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Super
That
iconic
or
for
when
his
he
channel.
shoots Scott Porter to see if Scrappy will come out.
No, I agree. No, those are the best two.
Those are good.
He got him.
No, I think Ranch Hand.
Oh,
Well, that one's hidden. No one's ever going to see
I
it.
mean,
though.
no one's ever gonna see this
the
video.
secret
but,
ranch hand video is really
For those of you who
good.
don't know, Grant, can you...
Oh, absolutely. So it's Calder's origin story of why he's called the sexy ranch hand, where he at like 3 a.m. decided, you know, it'd be a really good idea for a video. We should fill my jeans pocket full of
Jorts.
Hidden Valley Ranch and have Simeon meet me for the first time.
In their studio.
In their studio.
They're pretending to meet for the first time.
Where Simeon goes, so why do they call you the ranch hand? And Calder pulls out his hand from his pocket where it's covered in Hidden Valley Ranch and shakes Simeon's hand. That's the entire video. They were not happy with this video, so they made it hidden.
There is a copy out there on the internet, I will say. Not
There is
in a
one.
public space, but on my computer.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Gav, what's your favorite Dial H video?
So after hearing about Dial H and after going to tournament, going home, I was told to look at the pitch meeting video.
Oh, yes.
I think my favorite pitch meeting video has to be, I think it's the Disney Plus What If, or like
That's a
not
fantastic
What If,
one.
but the first Disney Plus
Yeah.
series.
Yeah, it's a fantastic one.
Yeah.
That one's super fun. And our last Calder question, what's your favorite team that you've played?
I'll go first because I've only played one team ever. Black Adam or Blackheart for Pulp, 300 points. It's 5 points down. It also has, all 3 characters do have I think it's mystical keyword or whichever one allows that you can place next to Blackheart when he teleports. He doesn't smoke
totally.
teleport.
Yep. Tris?
I know this is going to disappoint a lot of people because it's not Unimind. I'm sorry, guys. To all my Unimind fans out there, it is not 300 point Unimind from Secret Wars Battle World or whatever set that figure from.
What if?
Whatever it's from.
From What If?
No, he's from the Mighty Thor.
From the Mighty Thor. Oh, yeah, that is what it's from. Anyways,
My
I
bad,
don't
I
know
was thinking
because I
my
don't
favorite
actually play it. But, no, it's not Unimind. It is actually my Onslaught team that I made myself. And so it's Onslaught, and it has this guy named the Grim Reaper that's like when you hit with a monster figure, Yeah, or no, I was using Death. Or I was using whichever one out of Death and Grim Reaper is lower
I think it
points.
was Death, right?
One of them is lower points. I think it's Grim Reaper because Death has Invincible. Anyways, when you hit with a monster keyworded figure, you deal 1 extra damage, and then if the figure's not KO'd, you heal him. That figure was only on there to counter people who had a stop click on their last click, which was really a lot more common back then than it is now. So when I would hit, they would just die, and their stop click did nothing. And then I was using this other figure, Dr. Frankenstein, who had free support for monster keyworded figures. So Onslaught, he'd be the big front piece, and I'd have all these other figures on the team. I think Sabretooth is on there or something. And Frankenstein would just heal up Onslaught because it gets really squishy at the end of his dial. And, I would just take out everyone that had stop clicks, otherwise I would just mind control around, do Onslaught things. That's probably my favorite team I've ever played.
So before we move on to Grant's favorite team, the new Harley Quinn, or one of the new Harley Quinns from Notorious, I think it is.
The super rare.
Yeah, she also has a very similar effect, and some people have been messing around with her for a while. I haven't seen it come to fruition yet, but people have been playing her in the Death Tarot card, so you can't heal, so it's just an extra 1 damage. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, moving to my favorite team. I won't disappoint everyone. I love Goblin King. Goblin King is so fun. I've always loved one-man armies, and Goblin King was just that. He was the one-man army, and it was kind of just everything for a while. It was him and the old symbiote in a can, and he would just go run around, shoot things, and run away. It was the best thing in the world. It was the best time in Heroclix. Fight me.
So my favorite team, it's really hard because the 4 maggot team is really funny because I went to a tournament and I meant to not play 4 maggots, but I didn't bring the right figures, so I just had to end up playing that. So that was an accidental team, so that's why that one's special to me. But my favorite team is one of the first teams I ever played. It was just Onslaught, Firstborn from Wonder Woman 80, and not D20, but the normal Wonder Woman 80 Faust. And I played that team, and I think I had Chip on it too, but I played that team a lot. And Onslaught would free incap everyone, and then Firstborn would go up and get his free. He would either give them an action token or deal them a damage. And then he would have a 21 defense, which at the time was not the easiest thing in the world to hit. It's not like now where you have Scott Porters and a bunch of free perplexes. His 21 defense was pretty hard to hit, and then he would heal up based off action tokens, so he could heal 2 clicks off his steal energy. Or even on his lower clicks, he got flurry for a little bit, so you could heal 2 twice, so you could heal 4 clicks. It was really cool, fun little team I played for a while.
There we go.
Is that all that we got for today?
I think so.
All right, well, thank you everyone out there in Heroclix land for listening to this podcast, the first episode. We might make another one next week. I guess we'll see.
Shout out to Dial H for kind of inspiring us to try this, to see if we care about this. And
And we might see you next week, but if we don't, I guess we don't.
we might see you at Worlds.
I plan on going to Worlds this year,
I also
but
plan on going to Worlds this year.
all right.
We'll
That's
definitely have to make a video recapping Worlds
it.
or something.
Something.
That's it.
All right.
Happy
Bye-bye.
trails.
Happy trails.